My name is Lydia Foster, and together with my husband, we've been in real estate since 2005. ChatGPT absolutely changed my life, my real estate life and my personal life. And because it changed it so much, I asked Andre to please share it with our team. And then he decided to share it and upskill the whole of South Africa. So enjoy it.
Thank you very much. Yes, so very exciting to be here again. It's always a very fun session. So without any further ado, I'm going to start off now. As you can see there, that is my favorite saying in the world. You know, I'm very techie. I like my technology, but I believe agents will not be replaced by technology, but they will be replaced by other agents that use technology. We really are at a turning point in our industry. We've actually probably passed the turning point. We can't be ignorant anymore. You really have to adopt technology and get it to help you make your life easier in real estate. Okay, just a little bit about ourselves for those who don't know us. So myself and Lydia, who you saw just now, we've been property practitioners in Cape Town's northern suburbs since 2005. So it's at least been a while. I know there's a few of you that have been longer than us, but still. Okay, so we have only been with 2 agencies. For the first 16 years, we were at Remax. We were very happy there. And then in 2021, when EXP came to South Africa, we joined EXP and we've been very happy there ever since. Okay, that's my favorite slide again. So we're going to just get on with it right now. Firstly, why do we do this training? Well, firstly, we have a fairly large group of agents of our own agent team within EXP of almost 250 agents. So I'm always looking for ways to empower our agents so that they can feel confident and not overwhelmed by technology and AI. And then secondly, why are we sharing it with everybody? Well, we've always believed in collaboration over competition. Since we came into real estate, we were lucky in our area. We were welcomed with open arms by other agents from all agencies. We've always been in a networking culture, and it's just really is the way to go. Real estate can be a very, very lonely place otherwise. Okay, to start off with, it's very important for everybody to know that in today's audience, this is pretty much a beginner's introduction to ChatGPT, although we do move quite fast and we actually show quite a lot of advanced things as well. But we have mixed skill levels here, so it's a difficult topic to cater for everybody. But just remember, we've got beginners right up to advanced. When you registered for this, you would have had to fill in whether you use ChatGPT and for what. And still by far the majority have not used ChatGPT, those that register. And many of the others have used it more for basic things. And then there are, of course, a couple of advanced people. But I'm sure everybody will learn something today. Okay, so we're going to be looking at a lot of real estate, real-world examples, real estate related as well. And what you really need to get out of today is to know that you don't need to be techie. Okay, you don't need to be techie. You can use AI even if you think you're not techie. All right. So what we're hoping you walk away with today, if you're not using ChatGPT yet, I want to demystify it for you so that you don't think it's something out there that you cannot use and you can actually use it with confidence on a daily basis. I want you to realize that using ChatGPT it's like chatting with a smart friend. It's really a natural conversation. You don't have to know how to speak to ChatGPT. You just speak to ChatGPT. Okay, so I want you to realize that. And then we're going to be revealing its power. We're going to start off with basic uses and basic examples, but we're going to be going very fast because I really want you to see sort of the whole power of ChatGPT as well as its advanced uses and how you can brainstorm with it, etc. Okay. One quick thing quickly, if we can please keep questions until after the presentation. We will definitely take questions. If you want, you can put them in the chat box while we're busy. But after the presentation, we'll definitely open up the mics and we can have a discussion or questions or anything. Just not during the presentation, please, because otherwise we tend to get sidetracked and we often spend too much time on that and then we don't actually get through the presentation, which is what everybody's here for. Okay. So I always start off, even though we're speaking about AI and artificial intelligence and technology, I still believe always the heart of real estate, the heart of our businesses is always going to be people and relationships. That does not change. Okay. The only difference is now with technology, technology and systems becomes the sort of the backbone of our real estate businesses. Okay, right? So we still got the strong relationships, as you'll see at the bottom of that slide. Those are always going to be what carries us forward and creates momentum. Technology and using technology makes our lives simpler and helps us to scale our businesses and actually multiply our business. Okay. So just again, real estate is very multifaceted, as you know. If I wanted to put in 3 pillars of real estate, you can put in hundreds over here. These are just 3 pillars I've identified over time that I think are very, very important for our success. First one, back to personal relationships again, which I've already mentioned. That's just it. You need to have personal relationships because trust and connection, real connection with people is what matters most in our business. Then number 2 is lead generation. Okay. Lead generation, that is the lifeblood really of our business. It's critical. We have to generate leads on a consistent basis because, as I said there, today's leads are going to fuel tomorrow's business. And then lead nurturing. It's one thing to have leads and get leads, but it doesn't help if by the time they want to actually do something property-wise, they've forgotten about you. So you've got to keep nurturing them and stay in contact so that they remember you when the time comes. Okay, golden rule, very important with lead generation and lead nurturing. You've got to time block. Okay, you must make time every single day or at least a few times a week. That must be blocked like a doctor's appointment. Because if you don't do that, then 3 months down the line, you will have no business or further down the line. Okay, so if we're talking about nurturing leads, how do we actually stay in touch with them and nurture them so that you stay top of mind as a real estate agent for when they need one? Personally, obviously, personal touch, people you know personally, that's quite obvious. You get to speak to them, you have calls with them, you chat to them, you have coffee dates with them, you maybe see them. If you've got children at school, you see them at the sports fields, just general in-person networking. That's the easy part. But you're going to have lots of other leads generated over time, leads from properties that you listed. Maybe you're doing cold calling, whatever the case may be. You're going to have more leads than what you can actually keep personal contact with necessarily within your area. So how do we stay top of mind with them? Basically, we've got to meet them where they are. All right. And where are people spending their time? They're spending 95% of their time online, on social media, on the emails, or wherever it may be, on WhatsApp. That's where they are finding themselves. So we have to stay top of mind by meeting them where they are. So we have to be visible in those places. Right. And how do we do that? We can do that with content marketing. So this is going to be a large part of what we'll look at today is content marketing, making use of ChatGPT. Because basically, if you put out content on a regular basis, different types of content on the platforms and places that your leads are spending their time, then you will remain top of mind. And people will do business with people that they know and like and trust. And if you keep putting out good content, then they will know and like and trust you. Okay, so content can be a whole lot of things. There's a few examples. Can be content regarding your local area, news and events in your area. Obviously, your property showcasing. When you've got something for sale, you must make sure everybody knows you got it for sale. It shows that you're an active agent. When you've sold it, make sure they know you've sold it. Just don't let that be the only thing you're putting out there. Okay, educational tips, just educating people in general about the property process or just things in and around the home, whatever. That's good content you can put out there. And then personal posts, I always believe in still. I believe we're in a personal business, a relationship business. So I don't believe, for me personally, I don't believe we only have a Facebook business page and nothing personal goes on there. We mix it up, personal stuff, what's happening, what we're doing with our family. I believe it's good for people to get to know you on a personal basis as well and get to know the person behind the real estate agent. So that's my personal opinion. Some people differ on that. Okay, but with content creation, which I'm now saying, you've got to put out content. What are our biggest challenges and what have always been our biggest challenges? Firstly, limited ideas. What should we be putting out there? What type? Okay, let's put out educational. Okay, but what? So limited ideas. Then even if you do come across an idea, we're not all that creative, especially me. I'm not creative at all, actually. So you get a creative block. I know what to do, but what should I say about this? Or what should I design about this? What must I put out? And then the classic one, we know as real estate agents, we never have enough time. There's just so many things we have to do on a consistent basis, and we're always busy. So that's the other thing, we don't have enough time. Right. Now, what if there was one solution that could solve it all? Now, luckily in today's day and age, we have artificial intelligence, which helps us to work smarter and not always harder. Okay, so this is going to help solve these problems for us of not having enough time, not knowing what to say, not having the creative ability to do it. So, but now the problem is, since AI came to the fore, now it's been around for many years, but it came to the fore for the general public and for us really when ChatGPT entered the fray, which is probably, I don't know, 2.5, 3 years ago. Suddenly, since then, we see AI everywhere, right? It's just AI this and AI that, and everybody's selling an app, and it's an AI app, and it can help you with this. So it becomes very overwhelming for us, right? And what do we do when something is overwhelming? Well, we rather just avoid it, okay, because we don't know where to begin. So what do? We just shelf the idea and we say, no, okay, this is too much. I'm just going to carry on with what I was doing, and that's what we usually do. But my advice to you is, that's why you're here today, and congratulations on being here. You're here to learn about AI and ChatGPT. So my advice is, forget all the noise initially and use one tool, and one tool only, and that's ChatGPT. I'm not saying that's the be-all and end-all of all tools. Maybe you're a Gemini fan or something like that, whatever, that doesn't matter. But my advice now is, if you're not using it, use ChatGPT. It's simple, it's powerful, and it's becoming more and more powerful by the day. This is what I want you to know about ChatGPT is, if you can use WhatsApp, then you can use ChatGPT. It's exactly like chatting to a friend, right? I mean, you got a friend, you engage with them with a conversation, they chat back, and you chat back, and you start reasoning about things and laughing about things, and maybe even brainstorming about things, whatever. You're chatting to a friend. ChatGPT is exactly the same, and that's what I want you to see today. But it's not only your friend, it's also a very intelligent friend. It can be your personal assistant, it can be your marketing expert, whoever you need on the day. All right. Here's a little bit of a definition if you want. Imagine your funniest and smartest friend who's always available, but also knows almost everything on the internet and can explain things in a way that makes sense and can magically turn your rough ideas into polished content. Congrats, you've met ChatGPT. Okay, so it's your funniest and smartest friend, but much more intelligent, you would want to say. Not downgrading your friends at all, but much more intelligent and with a much broader general knowledge. Okay. So what's the difference between platforms like AI platforms like ChatGPT and the Google as we used to know it, right? Google is where we used to go if we wanted information, etc. But now ChatGPT is not just another search engine. The way we used to use Google, you would search for something and it gives you a whole lot of links of websites which other people created, which it thinks might help you. And you have to go in and out of those, etc., and try and find whether one of those actually has an answer to what you were really looking for. ChatGPT, on the other hand, goes and almost does all that for you. It goes and does the research on your behalf when you ask it something. Then it comes back and gives you educated answers, gives you creative ideas, but you can also reason back and forth with it, just like with a personal assistant. Yeah, but that's not exactly what I wanted. What about this? You can reason with it. You can brainstorm with it. Okay. What you need to know, make sure you go to the correct place. Don't go to some other rip-off website, of which there are many. So to use ChatGPT, you need to go to www.chatgpt.com. Okay. There you would just create an account with your email and create a password, and you can start off with a free account, right? I mean, you do get a free version, you do get a paid version. The basic paid version is about $20, which is 380 Rand. But almost everything I show you today, with one or two exceptions, almost everything I show you is available on the free version. And the main difference is that the paid version gets limited less. So the free version, especially when you go to things which you'll see later on, they're going to show you creating images and designing things and all that type of thing. So when you do that, it's pretty resource intensive for their servers and computers. So they will cap you. So you'll maybe be busy and it'll say, okay, hold on now. You're going to hold on a bit, please. And you can use us again tonight for this type of thing. Whereas on the paid version, you don't really get capped. So that's the main difference. But you will be able to use the free version for all that I show you today. You might just have limited use on a day-to-day basis. Okay, the other thing is you can obviously go to the website, but also you can get the mobile app on your phone, which I suggest you do. It has some other functionality, which is also great, which I'll show you today. The main thing to remember here again is make sure you get the correct one. You go to the Google Play Store or otherwise the Apple Store, and search for ChatGPT. Again, there are going to be hundreds of apps, and there's lots of rip-offs out there. So you need to make sure you get the authentic one. What you have to look at is who created the app. It's got to be created by OpenAI, which you see there on the screen now. So as long as it's created by OpenAI, that's great. So once you're registered, you can then go to either the website or the mobile app at any time, because you just log in with your email address and password that you used to register with. Okay, this is pretty much what it looks like once you're on the website, just so you know. So you would actually go there and you'd log in if you already have an account, and otherwise you would sign up to create an account. Once you are logged in, this is a very old slide, but it just gives you the idea. Once you're logged in, that's what it looks like. So the little box there with the arrow which says prompt, that is pretty much where you speak to ChatGPT. You're prompting ChatGPT to give you information or answer a question or speak back to you. That's the prompt. So whenever you hear the word prompt, and you're often going to hear people say it's all about the prompt, and they actually want to sell you a book of prompts to make you more successful, which is what I'm trying to show you don't need to do. Then on the left-hand side, you'll see there I've put there that it says it's your ChatGPT history. So as you have one chat after the other with ChatGPT, it'll actually all appear there in your ChatGPT history. This is quite old on mine, but it was just a slide. Anyway, and so you can actually go back and look at what you had done previously. You can also search those chats by keyword and etc. All right, just a few tips to start off. Obviously, when you do get back info from ChatGPT, verify the facts if necessary. ChatGPT these days, though, seldom gives false information, but still, it's up to you if you're going to be putting out content, especially to make sure that the facts are correct. Please protect sensitive data. You've always got to keep POPI in mind, obviously, and protection of personal information. So don't go and paste things in there with anybody's personal information. If you do want to paste in anything like that, just remove the personal information. And then remember, you're going to have to back your content. That's why you have to verify facts, etc. Okay, and then of course, when necessary, add your personal touch and make it authentic if you're going to use any information. Right, as I said, you're going to hear many people say it's all about the prompt. So the better that the prompt, the better you communicate to ChatGPT initially, the better the result will be. Okay, but don't worry about that, because you're going to get to that result in any case, as I'm going to show you today. And eventually your prompts will just become better and better. So don't worry about that. Initially, we keep it simple. As Tony Robbins says, complexity is the enemy of execution. So don't think it's got to be difficult. We start simple, and I'm going to do that today to show you. But practice will make perfect. So eventually, you will learn to be clearer and more specific right up front with your prompt, provide better context, define the format that you want, etc., which you're going to get to anyway, and I'm going to show you that today. All right. Okay, so on that note, I think I'm going to quickly, I'm not going to go here. So I'm going to go onto the live ChatGPT. And remember, right now, we're not going to be real estate related right up front. I just want to show you, as I said, we're going to cover many angles today. It's going to be catching back and forth, a little bit of real estate thrown in between, just trying to show you how you can get to where you want to be with ChatGPT. Okay, so I'm going to start off with just something very basic, just something like ChatGPT, how are you today? And it's got a bit of a spelling mistake there, but ChatGPT is very clear. I can see what I wanted to say. So ChatGPT answers. I hope you can all see. I'll zoom in a bit. Hi, Andre. I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking. How's your day shaping up so far? Okay. I am still trying to wake up. Whew, my spelling, but look there. It'll know what I'm trying to say. I'm still trying to wake up, I said to ChatGPT. Says ChatGPT, I hear you. It's one of those mornings. Has the coffee kicked in yet, or are you still running on loading? Please wait. Take your time. We'll ease into the day gently. So I'm just showing you can have a nice conversation, right? It's like talking to a friend. Okay, let's just say for fun, have you had coffee yet? Let's ask our friend ChatGPT whether he or she's had coffee. Oh, my spelling. No coffee for me, I wish. No coffee for me, but I get to live vicariously through yours. What's in the cup this morning? Strong black, this or that. And so the conversation can carry on forever. You can now carry on with whatever you want. Oh, no, ignore that. Let's talk about the project I'm busy with. Anything. Okay. So now I've just written this prompt out so you don't have to watch me type all the time with all my typos. So I'm going to say, no, let's move on. I actually want some information, still general, not real estate related. So I say, first, I need some advice for the weekend, please. My cousin is visiting from Joburg, and I'd like to show him a bit of Cape Town. Do you have any ideas? And there comes ChatGPT, just a nice social chat. I love that question. Joburg visitors usually want scenery, food, and this is so not Gauteng type of house. Here's a relaxed, and then it carries on. Okay, we're not going to spend too much time on this, but it'll tell you a whole lot of things you can do in Cape Town with your cousin. So you could go in the morning to Chapman's Peak, then Hout Bay Harbour, and you go there for lunch, a couple of trips, winelands, etc., etc. Okay, so just to show you again, I say, oh, okay, now I like that, but I don't think that's going to work for my cousin. So I'm going to say he is an adrenaline junkie. He's an adrenaline junkie. Okay. Oh, Cape Town is basically an adult playground for adrenaline junkies, says ChatGPT, and then starts changing what suggestions she has for me to do with mine. Now it moves over to things like paragliding and shark cage diving and abseiling and nice hikes and things like that. Okay. So you see what we get. What I'm getting at here is just the way you chat to it as a friend, for a start. Secondly, you will get there eventually. Once you get to know ChatGPT, your prompts, as I said earlier, will get better. So you would have started right from the start saying, my cousin's coming from Cape Town, but he's actually an adrenaline junkie, and maybe we can only do Saturday afternoon. You'll get more advanced quicker with your prompts, but you'll get there anyway in the start by doing the basics and then just reasoning with ChatGPT. Okay, so I think we've got that bit there. Now let's go maybe over to a little bit more real estate related, just so we can, and it's going to be very basic for now. Okay. Copy. I'm just going to go, there's my chat history. So I'm going to go to a new chat. Just going to close that again. So I'm just pasting this. I just wrote this out beforehand. So I say, okay, I'm a real estate agent. So this is just general, all right? And I want to improve my business and my visibility by creating regular content that I can share on my social media platforms and to my database, etc. Can you help me, ChatGPT? Okay, so very vague. It's like we were speaking just now. We need to create content so that we can be visible and remain top of mind. Okay, so I've just said, can you help me? No specific direction I've given it. Absolutely, you already have a huge advantage most agents don't. Okay, this is because ChatGPT actually knows me. That's another thing you'll see as you get to use ChatGPT over and over and over. Your answers become a bit more customized because ChatGPT knows you. So just ignore that part. But anyway, it says you have experience, etc. But let's break this down in a practical way. First, let's get the strategy right. So here it almost confirms what we're trying to do without us saying so. The purpose of your content is not to sell houses every day. It is to stay visible and build trust and educate homeowners and buyers and position yourself as the calm, knowledgeable local expert so that, look at that, you will be top of mind when someone eventually needs an agent. If we can get this right, listings and referrals will follow naturally. So then it carries on to say, so, okay, for content, you would have different sort of pillars that you could use. Firstly, homeowner and educating people, in other words. Secondly, local property area. We actually spoke about that just now as well. Behind the scenes, showing a bit of how you work on a day. This is now ideas that ChatGPT is giving you. So these are the sort of different areas we could start looking at to make you. And then, of course, it'll carry on and on and on. And eventually you can draw down to get exactly what you want, a complete content calendar. We're not going to go in depth into everything. I'm just trying to get the point across into a complete content calendar and then get it to actually create it post by post for you and images, etc. All right. So we're happy with that for now. Now I'm going to go back to my slideshow. So you don't have to watch me typing all day. It just goes a bit quicker then. Okay. Share. I am sharing. I just need to go from, there we go. Okay, so the point here is you've seen now how you can chat to ChatGPT. Now you can use ChatGPT to create unlimited content. Okay, it can be, we're going to look at one or two examples. Agent biography, your listing descriptions, your newsletters and articles, YouTube scripts, all sorts of social media content, email newsletters, everything. Okay, and then don't miss this one which says email and WhatsApp responses. I'm going to show you today how important that is, and when you can reply very, very professionally and informatively to people, that already is something that sticks in someone's mind when they need to use you later on. Anyway, okay, client communication, and then we're going to move on to the more advanced things as well of analyzing documents and images and creating about. Can you give me a thumbs up, anybody? Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to be looking quickly at agent biography. Why will we look at that? This is one of the areas that agents really, really neglect. What usually happens is when you enter the industry for the first time, or if you actually move from one agency to another, what happens? The minute you enter that agency, whether it's for the first time or whether you're now in a new agency, they immediately say, okay, we need to write something about you because we have to put you on our website, and then your profile will feed through to the portals, etc. So you quickly scribble something down. Yes. My name's Andre. I live in Durbanville. I love people. All agents love people, and all agents are trustworthy. So you write that type of thing. What happens now is that what you wrote sits there forever and you forget about it. Now later on, actually, a client is thinking of selling. He has 5 agents that he had over to his house. They're all doing sort of valuation reports for him. Not allowed to say valuation, property estimates for him, etc. And what happens? They might just be all the same, right? And he's happy actually with everybody. So what does he do? He thinks, oh, let me go and stalk these people online. This is what they do. Let's go and see what they're really about, and so on. So that's where they find your profile. Now, if you look like every other guy, that's it. Because most likely all the profiles are going to say, my name is such and such, and I love people, and I'm very trustworthy, and I'm passionate about property, and all that stuff, right? So you should put a little bit of effort into this, because this information tends to stick around for a long time. And then you can put this, obviously, on your company website, on your own digital business card, on your social media platforms, etc. So that when people find you, there's a little bit more substance to it. Okay, here's an example. So I asked ChatGPT, please help me to create a professional and engaging biography that I can use to promote myself on online platforms and social media. That's a bit vague. Again, remember, I'm covering a few things here. Firstly, how can we get a good autobiography? But secondly, how, if you're too vague, you will get there eventually with ChatGPT. Okay, so this is very vague. Can you help me create a thing? So there it goes. Now, what ChatGPT did here is it created a generic one. I haven't told it anything about myself over there. I just said, please create an engaging biography for me, and I'm a real estate agent. So it creates a generic one, which is actually really great, because it's probably better than I would have written for myself, and I could just tweak it a bit if I wanted to, although we're not going to do that. So yeah, it goes the usual route. I'm passionate about connecting people with their perfect homes. I'm a dedicated agent. I'm committed to delivering exceptional service, etc., etc. Whether you're purchasing your first home or this or that, I offer expert advice and so on. So it is actually very nice, and most likely better than anybody else would have written, or that you would have written yourself. And you can actually use it, just put your name in there. But it's not very personal. So now I've realized, oh dear, this is what I'm saying, back and forth with ChatGPT. Oh dear, yeah, I didn't really give ChatGPT enough information, so this is very generic. So I carry on and I say, okay, great, thank you very much. Let's carry on with this. So I say, could we make it a bit more personal, please? And I give it some more information. So my name's Andre Foster. I've been an agent since 2005. I'm married to my lovely wife, Lydia, and we have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. I love living in Durbanville. I have a degree in accounting. I specialize in residential property. I believe in honesty and integrity. So as much information as you can give it. And then at the end, that's just to prove a point, because that will always count. That's the format you want it in, the length. Please keep it under 500 words. I could have said keep it under 1,000 words or under 100 words, and ChatGPT will do that. Okay, so I've given it a little bit of personal information. I haven't colored it in because I'm not good at writing, but I've just said this is actually who I am. A little bit more, right? Now it suddenly tweaks that whole generic thing into much more personal thing. I mean, it says, and the best is I'm going to show you now how it takes a lot of that information I gave it and relates it to real estate. Okay, so it actually means something for people. So yeah, it says I've been in real estate since 2005. Blah, blah, blah. I'm married to my lovely wife, Lydia, and together we have 4 amazing children, 2 boys and 2 girls, who keep our lives full of energy and joy, coloring it in for me where I wasn't creative enough. Durbanville's been more than just a home for us, very effective, for your Durbanville market. It's where we've built our family, our friendships, and our careers. I truly love living here. It's one of the most special places in the Western Cape. Now look at how it takes some of my information and starts relating it to real estate. I just said I've got a degree in accounting, but it says I hold a degree in accounting, which provides a solid financial background when advising clients on one of the most important investments they'll ever make. In addition, I have extensive digital marketing background, which allows me to market properties strategically, maximize exposure, etc., etc. Okay, and so it carries on and on and on. But now again, just to show you, remember our point here is I want to show you the back and forth so that you will eventually get to what you need if you don't do it right up front, but then also how you can tweak it. So here, just for fun, I say to ChatGPT, let's first make it shorter, but can you make it more humorous? And then less than 250 words. And I was going to take that same thing, within seconds, it's going to make it funny. Okay, just look at this. Whether you use it or not, that's up to you. But here we go, same information. Now it says, I'm married to Lydia, who's the brains and the beauty of this operation. And we have 4 kids. Yes, 4. So believe me, I know how to negotiate and mediate and survive chaos without losing my cool or my car keys. It says I've been in real estate since 2005, which is back when interest rates were wild and TikTok was just the sound that a clock made. Then it says I've got a degree in accounting, which means I understand words like amortization, but I mostly use my powers to explain transfer costs without making clients cry. I also have a background in digital marketing because I like sold signs. I don't just list homes, I launch them like Beyonce drops an album. And I believe in honesty, even when the avocado tiles are not really vintage chic and that bright purple feature wall is more crime scene than creative. And so it carries on. So again, I'm just proving a point here, right? So ChatGPT can do anything. The more you chat to it back and forth, you will get different results and you can steer it in the right direction. I think that is hilarious. Okay. Next up. If you don't know where to start with ChatGPT, no matter what you want it to do for you, and you're just thinking, oh, what must I ask ChatGPT? If you don't know, ask ChatGPT what you should ask ChatGPT. Okay, so listen to this. So I want a biography, but I don't know where to start. So I say, okay, listen, ChatGPT, I'm a real estate agent in South Africa, and I want to create a biography to use on online platforms and social media. So basically, I don't know what to ask you. So I say to ChatGPT, please will you ask me any questions that you need answered, so that you can create a professional and engaging biography for me. You can use this in any situation. Okay, I'll have a look at another example just now. So now ChatGPT goes and decides, based on its broad knowledge, it goes and scours the internet and decides what is the perfect biography for a real estate agent. Once it's figured that out, then it decides, okay, so I need certain information from Andre. Now it's going to ask me questions that it wants me to answer, and once I've answered them, it will create the perfect biography for me. Okay, so we'll run through this. It says, fantastic, I'd love to help you. Please answer these questions. Obviously, firstly, a whole lot of personal stuff. What's your full name? Where are you based? How long have you been in real estate? What types of properties do you sell? Residential or luxury, etc. Do you work independently or for a company such as EXP or Pan Golding or SEEF? And so it carries on. Your educational background. What are your strengths? Is like negotiation or marketing, etc. Personal touches. It will ask you a whole lot of questions, which it is now decided it would like to know in order to really create a stunning biography for you. So once it gets those, it carries on and on and on and asks you how long you would like to be and everything. Once it gets that for you, it'll now create the perfect biography. Okay, and we're going to use this in many situations, but that's a good way to get where you want fairly quickly. Okay, as I said, always double check for accuracy before you post anything. That's just obvious. Okay, listing descriptions. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but just again, just to show you the back and forth, please write a listing description for my 4-bedroom home in Valmarie Park, Durbanville. Now, as I get the answer, I will realize that was too vague. It's just a 4-bedroom home in Valmarie Park. Nevertheless, ChatGPT will now take that little bit of information and go and do what it can. So it'll write a generic listing description for me, which I could use. Just tweak it, obviously, for my property details. But I'm not going to do that. But nevertheless, that's what it'll do now. What's going to be interesting is you'll see it also uses the fact that I said it's in Valmarie Park, Durbanville. So my description that it's going to give me, it's clever. It goes and looks what type of properties on Valmarie Park. So in general, it's not going to give me apartments and things like that because they're big, luxurious properties. Okay, anyway, so it does its best, creates a very, generic type of description based on the average property in Belmary Park. I could, of course, copy this. It's already better than I would have done myself. Obviously, I would then need to go and tweak it myself and edit it, etc., which I don't want to do. So I can say, oh dear, okay, I realize I didn't give enough information. Let's carry on. And then I say, give it some more information. Okay, here I'm just giving it a little bit. It's got so many garages and it's a very spacious garden, etc. You can now obviously give it more and more and more information, and it will then tweak it for you and work that in, so it'll become much better. And you can use that as your listing description. Okay, otherwise you go the same route again as we did with the biography. You're not quite sure what information to give it, or you're scared you forget something. So you say, please ask me a series of questions to gather the necessary information about any specific listing, so that you will be able to create a compelling but accurate listing description of approximately 400 words. Obviously, however many words you want. If you use this prompt, it'll ask you questions, and when you answer it, it'll create, obviously, a listing description for that specific property that you're answering the questions about. Okay, so there again, you'll see it's just going to ask you a lot of questions. Firstly, the basic property information, what's the address, etc. Layout, going to ask you a lot of questions about the layout and the features and what stands out, and are there offices and studies and garages, outdoor features, pools, etc., parking, and so on. It'll eventually ask you about the location, where it's located, what's special about the area, is it close to schools, and so on. So it's going to ask you the intelligent questions. When you answer that, it's going to give you a very good listing description. Okay, so enough about that. Giving you the idea. Go back and forth with ChatGPT, or ask ChatGPT to ask you questions if you're not sure how to tackle the situation. Okay, so we're not going to be looking at the listing description. That was pretty straightforward. What you need to know is what you're already seeing some of now, right? You can transform content for different purposes. So when you have something, whether ChatGPT produced it or not, you can transform it. You can say, look at the format changes. Please rewrite it in more or less words. If you don't like the film format, convert it to numbers lists or transform it into a table format. I'm going to show you some advanced stuff just now. Translate it to different languages. That's the best. ChatGPT is the best translator you will find. You just take a test. Let's say if you understand Afrikaans, take something English, put it into ChatGPT and say translate it to Afrikaans. Then do the same on Google, on Google's Translate. And you'll see ChatGPT is much, much better and more realistic Afrikaans. The reason being it's got so many billions of users using it now on a daily basis, and it's learning the whole time. Okay. In rewrite in a different tone, this is not an instruction manual. This is something I just quickly put together. All right. So you can ask it anything, but as we've already seen, I asked it to write something in a humorous tone. So you can say, okay, I like that, but please make it more light-hearted or conversational or more serious or friendly or playful or more humorous, more informative, etc. On the right-hand side, audience targeting. You can say, I like that, but simplify that for first-time buyers, or elevate that information because I'm aiming at luxury clients. Adapt it for different age groups. This is amazing. Don't take anything and say, please write that as though it was for a 5-year-old child, and see how it comes out. Okay, sometimes we should do that maybe with some of our clients. Just keep it simple. But just go and have a look at how the same message can become dozens of different things within seconds, depending what you ask ChatGPT to do with it. Okay, quick example of some social media posts. I know we're moving fast, but we're going to be covering a lot. Okay, I want to show you the whole power. So we're almost done with the posts and the text type of things. But social media posts. So let's just say, just now, remember in our initial conversation, which we did live with ChatGPT, we said, what can I do to sort of elevate my online presence? And it said you can create different types of content and so on. Now imagine you drill down and eventually you got something and it gave you some ideas, and then you think, okay, that's great. So now that was the post we had just now. So now it obviously gave you a whole lot of information. You maybe ask more questions, and eventually you come across something that you like, and you say, let's just say, okay, great. Please write 20 Facebook posts aimed at homeowners thinking of selling. Also add an image to use with each post. Okay, so we need an idea of what image to use. And we're just saying, think of something that would interest homeowners that might be thinking of selling. Now it's going to give me 20 Facebook posts. I could ask for 50, I can ask for 10. Okay, so we're not going to hover on this, but there you go. First post that comes up with is, are you thinking of selling? Here's where to start. If you are thinking about selling and not sure where to begin, you're not alone. The first step is understanding your home's current value. A property value estimate helps you make informed decisions, and then it says we offer a free, no obligation, etc. please send us a message and we'll arrange. Nice post. Okay, and then it gives you an image idea for that post. So an image you could post with us on Facebook would be a friendly agent chatting with a couple over coffee at a kitchen table. And so it carries on, makes 20 posts, which is what you ask for, with images for each one. You don't have to use them all, but this is now a good idea, right? So you're starting to see, you start with a broad and you come down, but within literally minutes, you can have content that you can share wherever you want to. Okay, so there's a few more posts. Now I say, okay, well, I like that. Thank you. So here's some more functionality you're going to see. So thank you for those posts. Can you now please put those 20 posts in a table with columns, right? I want it more structured so I can see what I'm doing. So I want the columns to be one column for the heading, one for the post content, a third column for the call to action, and a fourth one for the image idea. So within probably 2 seconds, it says, there we go, same 20 posts, all in a nice table format, exactly as I asked. There's the heading, there's the post content for each post, the call to action, and the image idea. So I say, nice. Just take note here. Can ChatGPT maybe create documents for you? Yes, it can. So I say, okay, great. Can you create an Excel file of that I can download? Because I want it on my PC now. I don't want to have to go into ChatGPT every time to go and find a post and post it. Let's just put it on an Excel file. And ChatGPT says, sure, no problem. Here's your downloadable Excel file with all 20 Facebook posts. You simply click on the link and you download it as an Excel file, and there it is. And just to prove a point, I say, okay, nice. I don't like Excel. I'm a Microsoft Word type of guy. So please put the table in a Microsoft Word document that I can download. Seconds later, sure, here's your downloadable Microsoft Word document. You simply click there, and then you've got it. And now you've got it nicely on your computer. Every day you can simply go and grab this post, put it into Facebook every week or whatever you're going to do. And this is obviously not the only content you're going to create either. You're going to create a whole lot based on the initial post we had where we said, what types of content can we create? Okay. Anyway, so here's just another example. Let's just say I say to ChatGPT, okay, I'm going to give you my listing description. I'd like you to create 2 versions of a Facebook post, 2 versions of an Instagram post, an email that I can send to my buyer database, and then 1 sold post, which I can use later once it's sold. So this is just, I know I actually want these. I want to be able to post every now and then that my listing's for sale, but I don't want it to look the same every time. So give me 2 versions, give me 2, etc. Just an example. Okay, within seconds, obviously very clever. I said, I'll give you my listing description. So very clever. ChatGPT answers. Perfect, Andre. Please will you go ahead and share the listing description because I forgot to. And then I'll create all the content you mentioned, and then it confirms exactly what I wanted, the 2 Facebooks, the 2, etc. Right. And I say, oh, okay, thanks. I forgot the listing description. Thank you very much. Here's the listing description, I say, and there goes ChatGPT. So it creates 2 Facebook options, and it actually tells me, okay, the first one that I've created, I didn't ask for this. I've made sort of feature focused, so focusing on the property's features and what it offers. Okay, lovely, beautiful thing you can put on Facebook. And it says the second one, I concentrate more on a lifestyle and sort of area and where it's close to, etc. All right. Then Instagram, because your Instagram audience sometimes differs. You can post the same stuff everywhere. But I just asked this, and if you ask for it to create for different platforms, it will, because it actually knows the demographic and what type of post sort of performs better on which platform. So now it creates the Instagram post, two types, and it's a bit different, and it's a bit more emoji filled, and it's a bit more got different tags, etc., hashtags and so on. Okay, and then the buyer email, because what do you usually do? Okay, we've got a buyer database, but we're in a hurry, eh? So we just quickly put an email out there. Hey, here's my latest listing. Let me know if you're interested. Meantime, within seconds, you can just have a decent email with a bit of a summary of the property, and then you just put in the link to click. Okay, and then a sold post for later on. Right, so you're starting to get the idea, right? We can use ChatGPT for so many things. All right, so today, we're not going to go drill down into all of them because we do want to get more advanced. But the point is that you can get content ideas that just never end, right? I mean, there's just 1 or 2 more ideas. We said create 20 Facebook posts or something. Yes, give me 50 topics for content that homeowners will find valuable. Give me 20 post ideas that showcase my town as an ideal place to live. Give me 10 reasons why sellers should use a real estate agent. Rather make that, give me 50 reasons why sellers should use a real estate. And so you carry on. Okay, help me write an article, etc. And these are just little examples because you're going to obviously realize that you can ask ChatGPT to give you ideas so you don't even have to think of these. But nevertheless, okay. Now we're going to move a bit to the more advanced things. So up to now, most people who have used ChatGPT will have used it pretty much like we did now, text-based. It's very much text-based because that is also how ChatGPT started out. It was just really, typing and it types back. That's pretty much it. But yes, the content was great and so on. But there's so much advanced functionality coming out weekly on ChatGPT that people often, they think they know ChatGPT, but if you knew it a month ago, then you don't know it anymore. I'm going to show you a few examples how we can use ChatGPT to analyze images. I'll show you how we can create images as well, analyze documents, simplify complex laws, write professional emails, very important. And I'm going to show you a few examples and why you can see it's so important, because that will convert into a listing very, very soon. Okay, how to create images, as I said, and much more. When we get to the end, the voice functionality and using, I'm not going to give it away. There's so much more. Okay. Let's start with reading and analyzing images and documents. This is basically where we're going to give ChatGPT something like an image or a document and say, look at this. It's amazing where we are actually in our lives, if you think about it. Where would you have thought a year ago you can take a photo, let's say, and you show it to your friend and you say, hey, look at this photo. And they look and they say, wow, that's nice. Look at the little flower. What's that? Oh, and I'm saying, actually analyzing like a person. Now ChatGPT does that as well with you, and you can use it in many, many instances to our advantage. Okay, just to show you again, once you're in ChatGPT, that's where you usually type your prompt. You still will type your prompt and tell them ChatGPT what it is you want, but you first need to give it. So to upload a file or a photo or anything to ChatGPT and then ask questions about it, you just use the little plus button. Sometimes the button changes and looks different, but that's what you do. You pretty much just click on that, then it's like wherever the thing is on your computer, you know how to upload. It's like uploading a photo to a listing. So you just choose where it is, upload it, or upload the file, or you actually drag it in here. Okay, so you give ChatGPT that. So let's look at one or two examples. And here we'll go a bit real estate related, so you can see why I say it's very handy. So let's say, for instance, you're out and you're doing a listing. Okay, you want to list the property. Obviously, you walk through there, you want to have accurate information about this property. So some things, sellers won't be able to tell you exactly what they are. I mean, they just moved in, there was it was. When you're with a buyer, you might want to be specific and at least sound intelligent, okay? So that you can actually tell them that's exactly what this is. So this is a very simple example, but let's say you take a photo of these, because now you don't want to just give it a wrong description. So you say to ChatGPT, what's the correct name for these windows? So you uploaded the photo, what's the correct name? And ChatGPT immediately tells you they are called sash windows. These are double hung sash windows with a Georgian grid style, etc. And then actually at the bottom, it'll tell you what it could be made of. And the ones in your image appear to be modern aluminium. Okay, so that's just wonderful. Now you actually know what they really are, and it's a simple example. Look at this, for example. Very funny knobbly ceiling, right? So what do you tell people? I mean, if you ask the seller what's that, he says he doesn't know, or he says it's a knobbly ceiling, or whatever he decided it's called. Whereas when you speak to buyers, you would actually like to tell them a bit more, because it might be something that nobody knows. So you simply say, upload the photo, what type of ceiling is this? And there you go. The ceiling in the image is known as a popcorn ceiling, also known as an acoustic ceiling or a cottage cheese ceiling. Tells you when it was made, how it was made, etc. Okay, so absolutely fantastic. Now, at the start, when I used these type of things for ChatGPT, I would now think, okay, so now a popcorn ceiling, can I really go and tell somebody this is a popcorn ceiling just because ChatGPT said so? Then what I would do, I would actually go to Google and Google popcorn ceiling. And then I'd look at the images, and they all actually look like this. So I realized, it is a popcorn ceiling. The difference is I couldn't have asked Google that, because Google didn't have the functionality for me to say, hey, look at this photo. Right, but since then I've learned really ChatGPT is so accurate. So, I mean, just another example, maybe younger agents don't know what type of floor that is, and they take a photo. I do, at least, gives away my age, but nevertheless. But let's say you didn't know. You just put in a photo, you say, what type of floor is this? And it tells you immediately it's a parquet floor. It consists of wooden tiles. It gets arranged in patterns, even tells you the different types of patterns. That's something I didn't know. So you could get a variation of a herringbone pattern or a block design, etc. Tells you when they were famous, which is pretty much used in the 1950s to 1970s, etc. Okay, so now at least, now you're armed, you're becoming more intelligent. All right, so your listing description will be accurate. If you're doing a valuation report, property estimate report for your client, you can actually put in accurate information in there so that he thinks, yeah, this oak is really taking note, at least, of what my property really offers. Here's a off the cuff, real practical example. I mean, look at that. That's just trees, right? And this is a true story. Myself and Lydia, we're in Durbanville, as I said. So we had to go and do a value estimate of a farm outside Durbanville. We had never been to the farm, and we didn't know the owner. It was just a sort of a person just contacted us out of the blue. So as we're driving into the farm, there's this long farm road, and there's all these orchards next to the side that look exactly like that. So I'm busy driving, and Lydia is, as a good agent does, she's busy on her phone. And I say, yo, look at all these orchards. I wonder what trees those are. So Lydia takes 1 second to look up from her phone, and she looks left, and she looks right, and she looks down back at her phone, and she says, they're guava trees. Of course, I think, yeah, sure. So I roll my eyes, and I think, yeah, whatever. And I carry on. And then when I get out the car, I think, no, wait, I'm going to be the clever one here now. So I take a quick photo without Lydia seeing me. As I get out my door, I take a photo of these trees, and I simply say to ChatGPT, very quickly, because I don't have much time, I say, what is this? I didn't even ask anything funny. And ChatGPT immediately came back and said, the trees in the image appear to be guava trees. Gives me the scientific name, exactly how you can identify them. I say to Lydia afterwards, well, you didn't know the scientific name. At least you knew. Anyway, and she just says she did possibly, but I just didn't ask. And so anyway, great. And so now you speak to the farmer and you can say, yo, lovely guava trees you've got here. I know it immediately gives a different impression again. Okay, helping us to be more clever than we are, or me at least. You probably all would have known the guava trees, but I didn't. Okay, take a look at this for an example of putting photos into ChatGPT. Imagine you're taking notes, whatever, any situation. In this case, this is just a dummy I wrote out. Let's say you're speaking to someone and you're taking notes because you're doing, going to be listing their home. But as you're taking notes about, okay, so I'm speaking to Jenny at 174 Smith Street. Her daughter is 10 years old. Her name is Lisa. This is the daughter's birthday, and the son is Peter, and they're both in Durbanville Primary School and so on. So you're taking notes because, as a good agent would do, when you get back to the office, you're going to put all this into your CRM, so you have it all neatly there, and you will never forget it. Of course, when you get back, now you're going to go and type it all into your CRM, into the notes section or whatever, right? You want to create birthdays and things like that. But just take a photo of your notebook, slap it into ChatGPT, and simply say, please read this image and convert it to typed text. Now, believe me, a year ago or so, roughly, if you wanted to do this, you would have to have the full Adobe suite of products with optical character recognition is what they called it. It's not just anything that would do this for you. ChatGPT now does it for you on the free version. So please read this and convert it to typed text. And there's the text. I now copy and paste, or as you previously saw, I could say put it in a Word document. I just check whether it's correct, and it was all correct. Even the 174, which was scribbled in my notes, it got correct. And I would have forgiven ChatGPT if it got the 174 wrong. Nevertheless, all correct. And that's just it. So just think of the possibilities of this. I mean, you can have notes and notes and notes. Maybe you go to a seminar, 3 days Tony Robbins seminar, and you're taking notes and ideas, and you get back, you think, no, it'll be really nice to put this in a Word document. There you go. You just take photos, slap it in, ask it to convert it to text. Okay, right. Now imagine the possibilities. Now you've seen what it can do with items such as popcorn ceilings and parquet wooden floors. Now imagine uploading a whole lot of photos of a property and then asking ChatGPT to describe what it sees in those rooms. You can know, this is an old example. I'd simply said, please describe the rooms that you see in the images. But you can obviously use this and say, create a good listing description for me. Now the difference is it's going to look at these pictures, and as you've seen now, it knows things. So if there's a popcorn ceiling, it's going to mention the popcorn ceiling, which you didn't even know what it was, etc. So this is actually, let me just make sure, yes, it's a video. So it's a video. I just scrolled down because obviously the answer was quite long. So I said, okay, I just uploaded there 10 images of a listing, and I said, please describe the rooms. And I'm going to play the video. It's going to go quite fast, but just so you can get an idea. It's going to start with the exterior, tells me exactly what it sees. Kitchen tells you about the quartz countertops and the oven and hob and everything. The living areas and how they open up, the braai area, and it even mentions the stacker doors that open up to the garden and the cladded braai area. For every room, it mentions what it sees in those rooms. Okay, I just asked it for facts in this case. So obviously, I could say now convert that into a listing description. But everything, if a room had an aircon in it, mentions it if it saw it there, and blinds, etc. So you're starting to see how much easier this can make our lives in general. Right. Moving on from images to documents. All right, so let's say you got a document and it's a long document and you want to do something, no matter what. You want it summarized, you want to find some information in it, and you don't know where to look. You just put the document in there. So this is a PDF. This is a real life example again. This was a home inspection of a home. The seller was selling a very large home in Durbanville, and he decided he didn't want any comebacks, so he wanted a home inspection done. Now, you know, when those home inspectors go in there, they've got to really report on everything because they've got to cover their bases for later on. So this is a 66-page document full of stuff. And very often it's not all negative. It's just mentioning things, right? So I put it into ChatGPT and I said, please summarize this 66-page home inspection report. Please highlight all defects that may be of importance to buyers. And it went and it did that. So it went and summarized what really goes on there. I mean, that thing is so full of information. And what the findings were, but just in summary. And then actually at the bottom, it says, while structurally sound, they had the summary for buyers. While structurally sound overall, the property requires roof repairs and things like that, moisture issues, etc., etc. Now I say, please write a covering summary email for the report that I can send to interested buyers. Okay, so now up front, I can say, listen, here is the full report. Here's a bit of a summary, but obviously they can read through the full report. And so ChatGPT does that, and it does it so nicely. It really, again, sort of summarizes everything. But quite honestly, it eventually says, as there where my cursor is, these findings are typical for a home of its age. This was actually found in the report, but I mean, you might miss it. And all you're seeing is where they're mentioning things about whatever, maybe a crack here or a bit of moisture there. And it just says these findings are typical for a home of its age and don't necessarily indicate major structural problems, but they just highlight areas of wear and tear and possible deferred maintenance that a new home, etc. Okay, but now this is making my life a lot easier. Okay, let's look at another example. Again, a real life example. Excuse me for a minute. Real life example. So Lydia had a client who wanted to buy a property in Plettenberg Bay. We're in Durbanville, so Plettenberg Bay is quite a way away. Anyway, and he knows Plettenberg Bay very well. He wanted to buy in a very specific area, established area, close to Robberg Beach. So Lydia contacted our local agent there and got them to line up a whole lot of properties and make appointments over a period of 2 or 3 days. Then Lydia actually went to Plettenberg Bay, met the client there with our other agent, and they showed him all these properties. So what actually happened, at the end of the day, he didn't really like any one of the houses, and there was one vacant stand there that was for sale. So he decided, well, maybe he should just build what he wants. Okay, so that's what he really wants. So he asked Lydia, obviously, okay, I'm interested in the stand, but can you just tell me, get for me all the regulations so I know exactly what I am allowed to build there and what's allowed and what's not allowed. So Lydia just sent me a WhatsApp telling me that. I went onto the Plettenberg Bay Municipality's website. It's called the Buteau Municipality. Found the zoning document, which pretty much tells you what you're allowed to do on a property. Lots and lots of pages in that, probably 100 pages more. Okay, because that now obviously covers all the zones and what you're allowed to do. So if you're in an agricultural zone, this is what you would be allowed to do. If you're in a residential zone or a commercial zone or industrial zone, whatever it may be, you'll obviously be able to do different things. And it covers everything. So I simply thought, no, okay, let's put this document into ChatGPT. I said, please read this document and summarize the building regulations, but specifically for single residential properties. So I'm asking it, you go and look through this whole document and give it back what's applicable to single residential properties. And it did that beautifully. It tells me what the land use is and and primary use is allowed, and what you can do with outbuildings, etc. Coverage, we all know that. What your building lines are, how much of the earth you're allowed to cover with buildings, and it even gives me the split for different size earths, etc. Placements of windows and doors, what the regulations are about that, garages, etc. So that was all very, very handy. I thought, that's now great. That's exactly what I got to give the client. But of course, me again, I've got to be skeptical because I've got to back this content. So I simply said, thank you very much, ChatGPT. Now, will you please also provide the page numbers in the document where this info was found? So now it's going to give me that, and then I can go and double check before I give the information to my client. It says, of course, no problem. Minutes later, seconds later. This is where I found it. So the information about the primary use consent for single residential was on page 40 and 41. Sorry. The information about the height allowed and coverage and building lines, etc., was on page 61 and 62. And the additional height and floor restrictions, etc., on those pages. So now it's giving me that I can quickly go into the document and double check. Lo and behold, it was all correct. So that was great. Now I can give this information to the buyer. But one up it, right? Rather than just try and write my own email and send it to the buyer, I say to ChatGPT, okay, great, thank you so much. Please will you draft an email to my purchaser with a summary provided and referencing the page number. So now I'll take the email, I'll attach the whole document. It's still, you always give them all the information and say you can read through this document, but here is a bit of a summary. And look at how beautifully ChatGPT puts it. Dear Mr. Smith, hope you're doing well. As discussed, attached is the whole bylaw, but here are some key things you can take note of. And it tells it exactly, gives it a bit of a breakdown, etc., etc. So professional. And again, what I say here is, you know, things like this stick with people. This is your lead generation for tomorrow. This guy did buy this earth, so that was great. But let's say he didn't, and maybe he bought something from another agent. And in 5 years' time, he decides to sell. This email alone might be what sticks with him as you were the most professional agent that he's ever met. Okay, so you can use this to just make yourself so much more professional in the market out there. Anyway, and it makes your life so much easier. So within minutes, I mean, really within minutes, I had got all the information necessary, summarized it, and sent an email to the client, probably before he even got back to his hotel room. Okay, and as I said, luckily he did actually buy that earth. Right. Just one or two more little examples. Just like with photos, you can ask ChatGPT to analyze screenshots. So let's say you're busy on your computer and you're maybe getting stuck with something, no matter what it is. You just take a screenshot. If you don't know how to do that with a print screen button, you can take a photo and upload it to ChatGPT and just say what you're busy with and what you're battling with. So here, for instance, I was busy in Canva because we all use, in EXP, we use Canva Pro. So I was busy in Canva, and let's just say this is just an example. I created a just sold post or used one of the templates in Canva, and I thought, let me just put our photo in there as well, make it more personal. And then, of course, there the photo is with a background. So if I didn't know how to do it, I couldn't go and try and find instructions and look through all the little video that Canva has. That's going to take me forever. So I simply take a screenshot of that. There you can see there's the web address. This is what Canva looks like on my desktop. I simply post it into ChatGPT. And I say there to ChatGPT, how do I remove the background from our profile picture? I want you to even take notes. I didn't say how do I remove the background from a profile picture in Canva. I didn't even think about that. I just uploaded and said, how do I? But it immediately goes and analyzes this image and can see, okay, so this is Canva. It's looking at the email, the web address up top, etc. Okay, so within seconds, it tells me exactly what to do. It says, this is how you go about it. Go and click there, do this, do that, click blah, blah, blah. And within seconds, I had done it, and there we had it. Okay, so that's just an example, just a simple example. This was another example which I used. I was busy creating Google Forms, much like the form you filled in to register for this webinar. But I had to share it with some of our colleagues, and I got to this. And when I was trying to share it, it said, do you want to share them as a viewer or as a commenter or as an editor? And I thought, oh, good grief. So what are they allowed to do with those things? So I simply took a screenshot and pasted it in and Google ChatGPT immediately told me what a viewer would be able to do, what a commenter would be able to do, what an editor. So now I can choose intelligently what I want the people to be able to do and share it correctly. Okay, going to be looking a little bit at Canva, not Canva itself, but more the use of how to sometimes use ChatGPT in collaboration with Canva to make your life even easier. Okay, so I'm going to use one or two examples. Imagine, because I'm specifically going to be looking actually at bulk image creation. So Canva has a function where you can bulk create images. So you can, I'm going to show you now. Okay, so let's take it as example. So I would go to ChatGPT, just like we did just now, almost where we asked for 20 posts, 20 social media posts. Okay, and let's just say, so I would ask ChatGPT, please will you create a series of social media posts about whatever it is, right? Then I want you to please export all of those to an Excel file, which I've already shown you how to do. Then you're going to take that Excel file, import it into Canva's bulk create function. And then within seconds, if it was 20 posts, Canva will create 20 images using the information from that Excel file. Okay, let's look at a quick example. So let's just say, okay, this is already, I've asked ChatGPT, and I'd obviously asked it to create a series of posts about the selling process, property selling process. So you will see it actually numbered them, and it starts off by saying, post number 1 would be, selling doesn't have to be stressful, with a nice caption, obviously. Number 2, you must know the market before you list. Number 3, you must choose the right agent. Number 4, you must get your home ready for buyers. 5, you need to price it correctly. 6, what marketing will work. And so it carries on right through to the bottom where it tells you about the transfer process. So obviously those are headings, those are the actual captions you would have in your post. And now I've asked it to put it in an Excel file. Now I take that Excel file into Canva's bulk create. Obviously, I added a background image. In this case, I added the same background image for all of them, but it creates all those 20 or 30 images immediately based on the content that was in those columns. I simply just connect the columns. Anyway, the bulk create function is very, very easy. So there you have it. Now it's got every single post on a different image. So I can sort of drip this out on my social media as a nice filler content. Or put it on your WhatsApp status, whatever. Just remember, visibility, top of mind, stay top of mind. Okay, here's another one. Here I asked it to just create a whole series of posts about real estate quotes. So it started with number 1, sold isn't just a sign, it's a celebration. Number 2, owning a home is a keystone of wealth. Number 3, buy land, they're not making it. So it used a whole lot of real estate quotes that it came up with, plus captions. But in this case, I wanted different images for each one, right? The previous one was sort of a series, the whole selling process. So I wanted the same image. Here I want everyone to have its own image. So I also asked ChatGPT to give me an image suggestion for each post. And then it said, okay, so the first one, sold isn't just a sign. You would want hands holding champagne glasses, etc. Now the trick here, I'm just going to show you the post first. So there it is. There's all the different quotes immediately done. Now the difference is I wanted a different image for each one. But instead of actually, like in the past, I would have had to go and find images, which it's really making it easier. I would go to one of the free things like Pixabay or one of those places that gives you free images, and I would search for images like that. But now, as I'm going to show you just now, you just simply ask ChatGPT to create the images. So I simply created these bulk images, and then I said to ChatGPT, now please create an image of hands holding a champagne glass, and please create an image of close-up of a house keys on the contract, and an image of rolling hills. And there they are. There's the hands holding champagne glasses. There is the keys on a contract. There's the rolling hills. So everything basically here was done with ChatGPT combined with Canva. Within minutes, you've got 20, 30, 50, however many one posts that you can use as filler content. Okay, you're getting the idea. Very recently, ChatGPT stepped up its game where it won't only create an image for you like I showed you, like the hands holding a champagne glasses. It can now actually connect to your Canva profile. So we've all got Canva. So within ChatGPT, I simply say, okay, when I want to use Canva, I will tell you, and then you must connect to my Canva account, and I give it the login details, and I give it whatever permissions it needs for specifically that. So now what happens is, you'll see I start the thing at the top there, I say at Canva. That immediately tells it, when you actually do that, it'll bring up a little Canva button. Okay, now it's telling it, okay, I want this done in collaboration with Canva. So I say, please create an image for lead generation aimed at attracting potential sellers to contact me if they are thinking of selling. So I haven't told it what the image must look like, but I'm just telling it who I'm trying to attract is people who might be thinking of selling. Okay, Now what it doesn't create images, it creates Canva templates. Okay, so here it gave me 4 options. Said, oh, well, there's one option, another one. If you don't like them, tell it to create new ones. But nevertheless, now if you like one of these, the difference now is this is not an image that I just download that I can't really change. This is a Canva template. So when I click on that, it opens my Canva so that everything is editable. So actually every one of those things is a text box that I can change or move or resize. I can change the house image. So that's the difference. So it's created a whole lot of templates. If I click on the one, it opens that one in Canva and I can now edit it. This is how fast things are happening and how, yeah, anyway, just your productivity and as I've been speaking about the whole time, putting content out there is becoming so easy. There's no excuse, right? You need to stay top of mind. So start using this artificial intelligence to your advantage. Okay. We looked at a whole lot of things. I just want to move over to, just think now that you've got ChatGPT. If you've got a digital business card or something like that, now you can start populating that with stuff that actually means something, right? So you can send that link to your clients and you actually look professional, right? It's like you have your own digital business card or whatever. I'll show you an example. Okay, so with an EXP, we have digital business cards from PropCon, but we also have microsites. This is what we call our microsite, where you'll see it's the address up top is me.exp South Africa /Lydia. So that's your own personal microsite. You can send that link to people and they can now go on here and see how professional you are as an individual agent. All I'm really trying to show you is as you go down through this, now you start creating the content you need to put into this type of digital business card or thing. I'm going to play this as a video. I'm just going to pretty much scroll through and I might make 1 or 2 comments as we go on. So it looks very, very professional. And here's the difference. So obviously you can have your listings on there. Your listing descriptions will have been created using ChatGPT, so very professional. You'll have an About Us section. This is just a summary. There's a whole About Us page. So that's my biography, right, that I would have created. Beautiful biography. I'll have a whole About Us page. Okay, this is not, but anyway, you can click to your social media things. Then you'll see if you've got a blog, and this is very important to really make you look professional, you can create articles, right? I do a lot of this because I create videos. I like doing sort of educating people about the selling process. But so now you can use ChatGPT to create this content, which previously you didn't have the creative sort of ideas and things. So I'm just showing you how you sort of bring it all together in a way where you can really, really look impressive. Now you start sending this type of thing to your sellers and buyers. They're thinking, this agent means business. Okay, you with me? Okay, moving along. What's happening? Let's look at creating images. Now, this has become so advanced. I'm going to be looking at a few more basic examples, but it's becoming more and more advanced just all the time. So let me get that one. Okay, so let's just take 1 or 2 examples. Let's say, so you just want to create an image using ChatGPT. It's like I showed you earlier, it told me I should use an image of champagne glasses, and I said, well, create it for me. Okay, now let's just look at this. Please create a realistic photo image of a luxurious glass-fronted house with a lush garden and a modern pool with a Cape winelands in the background at sunrise. So it's not an image I want, which is a photo of a house that I took. I wanted to create one. Maybe just something I'm going to use somewhere. It's just pretty, maybe in a presentation or something. Anyway, I say, please create that. And look at that. So within a few seconds, it creates this. Now let's look at the detail. So I said I wanted a luxurious glass-fronted house. That it is, with a lush garden, with very lush garden, and a modern pool, a lovely modern pool, with the Cape winelands in the background. Just look at that. There's the vineyards, and we've even got the Boland Mountains. And then to top it off, I said, please do it at sunrise. And there you've got sunrise. So you're starting to see, and the more detail you give it, you can just go so deep with this these days. Okay, just another bit of tongue-in-cheek humorous example. When I present this to our own EXP agents, I always say we are the future of real estate, so we don't know what to expect pretty soon. Anyway, just for fun, let's say to ChatGPT, please create an image of a spaceship that has landed on the ocean with Cape Town in the background on a bright, partly cloudy day with a futuristic real estate agent standing on top of it. And that's what ChatGPT came up with. So, on the ocean, definitely it is. Cape Town in the background, there's no doubt. There's Table Mountain and everything. on a bright, partly cloudy day to top it all off. It doesn't make it bright, doesn't make it cloudy. I asked for bright, partly cloudy, and that's what it is. And a futuristic real estate agent standing on top of it. That lady definitely is futuristic. And to make sure that you know it's a real estate agent, because that's what I asked for, they put a sort of a like hologram type for sale sign up. Anyway, the creativity is next level. And I mean, previously, what would you have done to create creative images? Okay, moving along. Manipulating images. Now, maybe you have an image, but you want to change. The possibilities are endless. Have a look at this. So now you arrange with the seller to go. You've got your professional photographer coming over on a Saturday morning and everything, and you've arranged this, and you arrive there, and this pool is still green, although the seller said it would be blue. And he, of course, tells you, don't worry, I actually put in 10 bags of chocolate this morning, so Monday it's going to be blue, blue, blue. It doesn't help you. Anyway, get the photos, and if your photographer can't edit it for you, you just simply put the photo in and you say to ChatGPT, please change the pool's water into sparkling blue. And it does that. There you go. So hopefully the water will be blue on Monday, and then you could actually have used it. But you can at least put your listing out there. Anyway, it's just an example. Here's another example. Somebody with a hole in his backyard already dug it, and he's now uncertain what type of pool he wants to put in there, or what look. But even if he didn't have a hole, if you just take a photo of the backyard and you say, give me some ideas. So here, let's just take this as an example. I said, please create a modern design for a pool for the hole that has been dug as in the photo. Do not change anything of the existing buildings. Okay, you always need to sort of say that, because sometimes ChatGPT is very over eager, and then it might sort of change the doors and the roof and things like that. So you just say, don't change anything else. I just want ideas for the pool. And there it was. I asked it for 1 or 2 ideas. There's one idea, beautiful. And there's another one. You can ask it for as many as you want. Now you can send this to your seller, whoever, and they are so impressed. Say, hey, you were speaking about your pool. Here's some ideas. What do you think? Otherwise, let me know what you want. Very, very impressive. Or for your own house, no matter what you're doing. Maybe you want to redesign your whole living area. Use ChatGPT. Okay, property staging. Not long ago, you wanted this done, you'd have to pay someone a lot of money, or there'd be another AI app that charges you $20 a month. Now ChatGPT does it for you. So you can put in a photo like that. This is a real photo of a vacant flat. And my description was quite simple. Can you furnish this room, please? Again, without making changes to the actual walls or floor or any other part of the structure. Remember, if you're going to use this in an advertisement, advertising your listing, it doesn't help if the structure is not the same, because then you're going to be held liable for false marketing. So I say, please keep that all the same, but put in modern lounge furniture. I wasn't very specific. And there you go. Beautiful. So I can use this picture because it's just staging furniture. No, it's not false advertising. And I just make sure I go back and forth and I look at the light fitting. Yes, that's perfect. Look at the ceiling. It's still all the same. Look at the tiles. Perfect. Nothing has changed structurally, so it's not false advertising. It could just have been a photo when there was still furniture in. But this would cost you a lot of money previously, and now you can do this. Okay, just using ChatGPT. Perfect. Here's just another example. Let's say you've got a bit of a bland backyard, and your seller wants some ideas. Hey, I've been thinking, what can I do here? Or your buyer bought this place and he's thinking, oh yes, you'd like to do something here. Yeah, you can be the bright one. You go back to ChatGPT, you say, please fully modernize this outdoor entertainment area. And in this case, I said to ChatGPT, I want you to create 2 images, one at dusk or nighttime, and then one what it would look like in the day. And there we go. So there's the original image. There's what it says we could do with a daytime image. So if you change it to look like that, and that's what it would look like at night, the same thing. Obviously, you could ask for more different designs, so different looks or whatever. But just look at that. And this happens within seconds. I mean, it's just so powerful. Right. Just a bit of fun. You can use this on yourself as well. Put yourself in various situations. So this, for instance, we were doing a roadshow, and I was doing a presentation for EXP at Umhlanga Rocks at a roadshow. There were a lot of people in the audience. And Andrew was there. He's our country leader, principal of EXP South Africa. Also a very good friend of ours, a wonderful man. And just for fun, I thought I'd put this on, and I said, please turn Andrew into a superhero flying over Umhlanga rocks with the EXP Realty logo on his chest. So for ChatGPT to do that, obviously, I had to give a photo of Andrew and the EXP Realty logo to use. Now, Andrew actually lives in Umhlanga. Anyway, it was quite, so it was actually, we really had quite a laugh in the audience. And that's what ChatGPT created. And there's no doubt that it's flying over Umhlanga. That's the lighthouse. In fact, we were sitting at is it the Beverly Hills Hotel? Where were we? Anyway, looking over on that lighthouse. And even for Andrew, this has got very personal connotation. When he got engaged to his wife, he had lights projecting "Marry Me" onto that lighthouse. Anyway, but there you go. I just asked that please turn Andrew into a superhero, and look how easily it did that. Sorry. Right. Moving along again to some more interesting things even. We're covering a lot of bases, so we're not going in deep, but I think you're starting to get the idea of the full functionality. Okay. Just want to move along here, just scrolling quickly. Now we're going to be moving, as I said, to the voice functionality. So there's so many ways you can use ChatGPT these days. Let me put up this. So you can now use it instead of typing all the time. As you saw at the start when I was live on ChatGPT, I was typing. It was just for a specific reason. But you can also use ChatGPT's speech-to-text function, which would be as though you are typing. So you would speak to ChatGPT, and then it converts it into text. So you just check if the text is correct, and then it's exactly as we were doing previously. It's just I wasn't actually physically typing, and then ChatGPT will answer me back in text. There's another option, and I'm going to show you the differences, where you can actually have a voice conversation with ChatGPT. That's like speaking audibly, loudly. You can speak to it, and ChatGPT speaks back in a voice. Okay, so that's as if you're speaking with another person, or your best friend, or your personal assistant, or whatever you want. Then I'm going to show you how you can, while speaking to ChatGPT in a voice conversation, you can activate your camera. So now it's suddenly as though you are speaking to your friend who's walking with you, and you're looking at something and you're discussing it. So you can activate your camera and ask ChatGPT something about whatever is on your camera. All right. And of course, you can also share your screen while talking. I'm not going to explain that today, but it's pretty easy. And ask any questions about what you're busy with on your phone. Sorry. All right. So this is just to show you, this is what the phone looks like. Just now when we're on the PC, you're going to see you've got the same buttons. So there's two different buttons. The one that looks like a microphone, that is for speech to text. So if I use that one, then I speak. Then when I hit enter, it's going to convert it into text. And I just quickly check if that is what I wanted to type. And I hit enter, and it's the same as though I typed it. All right. The other one there, which looks with a green button, with a green arrow that I put there, looks sort of like a sound wave. If I press that, now I'm entering into an audible conversation, okay, back and forth with ChatGPT. Okay, I think while we're here, so I'm going to be doing this bit of live stuff as well, but just in case sometimes we might have connectivity issues, I have this little recording as well, which I'm just going to make sure everyone's going to hear it, which is just a pre-recorded voice conversation with ChatGPT, just for interest's sake. I hope you guys can hear this all right. Oh, come on, ChatGPT, be honest now. Is it really possible that Lydia is always right and I'm always wrong?
Oh, I'm no relationship expert, but I'd say Lydia's right 99.9% of the time. And that 0.1%, well, that's just when she's agreeing with you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for nothing.
Happy to help. If you ever need a pick-me-up or a bit of fun, I'm just a chat away.
Okay. Oh, come on. I'm quite convinced that Lydia and ChatGPT on my phone are in cahoots. I think when I'm asleep at night, I think Lydia grabs my phone and she and my ChatGPT are having conversations because they're definitely in cahoots, and ChatGPT is always on Lydia's side. Nevertheless, okay, what I want to do now, I think, I'm going to go into a live just to show you here. Let's go to a new chat. So it's the same on the PC. So right now I'm live on my computer again. So I'm going to now show you the speech to text. All right. And what I've done is I've actually typed out a bit of a thing because I want to do a dual thing. Firstly, you're going to see how speech to text works. And then secondly, I'm actually even going to incorporate a bit of real estate stuff and get some advice from ChatGPT. So I will be using the little microphone. And I'm just going to be writing what I typed here, reading what I typed here, and then we'll submit it. So this is, as I said, this is as though you were typing. You're just going to convert the speech to text. Right, so I'm going to start. Hi, ChatGPT. I sent my seller a low offer on his property. He was quite disgusted that I sent him such an insulting offer. Please will you help me to draft a polite but factual reply to my seller explaining that I have a duty to take and present all offers to him. And maybe you can add that sometimes buyers make cheeky offers just to try their luck, but then they end up paying a fair price in the end after all. So let's just give it some thought and decide together how we are going to respond to the buyer. So now I've hit enter. It's just converted it to text, as you can see there. Exactly what I said. I would just usually, you can just scour through this, make sure there's nothing wrong there. And then you simply, so now it was as though I typed it, right? I mean, in fact, at the end there, I can continue typing now. I can see there I'm typing again. Okay, which I'm going to delete now. So this is as though I typed that. And now I'm just going to hit enter. So anyway, as I said, we're illustrating the voice to text, but now I'm also going to show you, I asked it, I gave it a situation and said, help me to reply to my seller because he's now disgusted at me because somebody else made a low offer. We all know this situation. And now usually for me to reply to this, it will take me a long time because I've got to get the wording right. Because actually, I'm very irritated at this stage that somebody would actually, be upset with me for the buyer's low offer. Anyway, so let's see what ChatGPT comes up with. ChatGPT says, of course, this is a very common reaction from sellers and a very human reaction. So the key is to acknowledge this, his feelings while calmly explaining your professional duty, etc., etc., etc. So here it goes. Hi, seller's name. Right. I completely understand your reaction to the offer and I appreciate you sharing your feelings so honestly. I agree that the figure is well below what we believe the property is worth, and it can understandably feel frustrating to receive an offer like that. As your agent, I do, however, have a legal and professional duty to take and present all written offers to you, regardless of the amount. My role is not to judge the offer on your behalf, but to ensure you are fully informed and then guide you through the best way to respond. It's also worth keeping in mind that some buyers do start with what I'd call a try your luck or cheeky opening offer. In many cases, this is simply a way for them to test the waters rather than a reflection of what they are ultimately prepared to pay. Quite often, once negotiations begin, these same buyers end up moving much closer to a fair and realistic price. There is absolutely no pressure to accept or engage with the offer if you don't feel it merits response. I would suggest we take a step back, give it some thought, and then decide together on the most appropriate response, whether that's a firm counteroffer, a clear rejection, or a strategy that keeps the door open on our terms. I'm here to protect your interests and to help you navigate this calmly and strategically. Let's chat when it suits you and decide the best way forward. Thank you, ChatGPT. That's the perfect answer, which I would not have come up with. So I'm handling it very diplomatically. And I believe, again, this is just going to put me in a very professional light. And now the seller understands. Anyway, what we were actually demonstrating was this speech to text function. Right. Now what I'm going to do, this I'm going to do on the phone now again. So I'm going to just close that. So now, as you can see, I think, got 3 screens open. Yes, you see I'm on my phone. Okay, so I'm going to open ChatGPT here. Make sure volume's up so that you'll be able to hear. Now, I'm showing you on the PC there, we're going to be using that little wave button, but I'm going to be doing it on my phone, right? So now you're out and about, and you can have a chat to ChatGPT about anything, right? Whatever. I'll think of something now. Well, actually, we're just going to go straight into camera usage. So just think of this. You could, while you're driving to a seller, you can activate the voice mode and say, hey, ChatGPT, I'm on my way to my seller. His house has been in the market now for 4 weeks, and it's priced at 3.2 million. My valuation was 2.8, and I really now need to get this price reduced because the interest is not good. Will you role play with me? You can, and ChatGPT will do that. She'll now, act as a disgruntled seller and then come with the typical objections. You can have a whole conversation, but in the same time, the nice thing about the voice function is while you're driving, when you initiate voice, it'll just keep on speaking to you back and forth until you stop it. So it's nice and hands-free. You can actually get good information as well, real estate related, whatever you want. And then when you actually, it'll still convert it to text for later on reference. And I'll show you that as well. But right, now I'm going to start a conversation. You'll quickly hear it. Then I'm going to activate my camera. And then hopefully all this works with connectivity and data and everything. Okay. And you guys can also just give me a thumbs up if at least you're hearing everything. Right. So I'm going to start, as I said, the voice conversation on my phone. Hi, ChatGPT, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Andre. What's on your mind today?
I was just wondering, do you know what the weather is going to be like in Durbanville this coming weekend?
This weekend in Durbanville, you'll have plenty of sunshine. On Saturday, it'll be around 26 degrees during the day and about 16 at night. On Sunday, it'll warm up more, reaching about 31 degrees in the day and 18 at night. Saturday will be a bit cooler, so it's great for outdoor plans.
Okay, thanks, ChatGPT. That's wonderful.
Always happy to help. If anything else pops up, just give me a shout.
Okay, I've just activated my camera. Can you see what I'm showing you?
Yes, I can see your setup. It looks like you've got a laptop and dual monitors going on. What would you like me to help with?
Actually, no, I'm going to ask you if you can see the printer I'm showing you now.
Yes, I see your printer there on the side. It looks like a multifunction device. What's going on with it? Or is there something you'd like to check or troubleshoot?
Can you see the exact model?
I can see the printer, but I can't make out the exact model from here. If you can adjust the angle or tell me any label or series name you see on it, I'll be able to help you more precisely.
Okay, can you see that?
Yes, now I can read it. It looks like it says HP DeskJet Plus Ink Advantage 6475. If there's something specific you need help with, scanning, printing, or troubleshooting, just let me know.
Yeah, somehow I would like to connect to that from my laptop via Wi-Fi. Is that possible?
Absolutely, that's possible. You'll just need to make sure the printer is on your Wi-Fi network. Usually on the printer's menu, there's a wireless setup.
Okay, I think you get the idea. I mean, can you imagine? And you can use this in any situation. Maybe you're in a restaurant overseas and you've got a foreign language menu and you just pull out your camera. Hey, ChatGPT, look at this menu. What on earth is going on here? What do you suggest? What does that mean? Anything, right? So yeah, using your camera, and then of course the voice function you can just use over and over and over again. You can be driving somewhere, you start off with what am I going to eat tonight, and give me a recipe. I've got 3 chicken breasts and 6 potatoes and cabbage, and then you go move over to, oh dear, before I forget, I've got to do a project for my son about photosynthesis, and he's in grade 6. Can you do something that's sort of worth that? And then you move over to, oops, I'm nearly at my seller's house now, help me with this or with that. I mean, so it's just quite amazing, right? And with the camera function, think where we're going with that. You could now, pretty soon, you'll activate your actual camera and just walk through a house. And you're not having to worry about too much. You're busy chatting away to the owner, walking through the house, because ChatGPT is seeing everything. And as you saw previously, it'll then be able to describe exactly everything it saw. It's just moving so fast, and we don't want to be left behind. That's the big thing. Okay. Now, I see you. Okay, I'm still sharing my screen of ChatGPT on my PC. So what I'm going to do now, just to show you, I'm going to refresh that. Remember, I was on my phone now. Now we're going to go here to my chats. I was busy on my phone. Those are just projects and things. It's more advanced stuff. Here we go. So, I mean, that chat over there was the one we were busy with just now, which was where it wrote the email to the seller. Now you'll see the next chat up top there. That's the one I've just had on my phone, and it was a voice conversation. So now you'll see, firstly, when you do go in here, it'll look a little bit different because you'll see it's it's in, what do you call them, like inverted commas, like so you can see it was a voice chat. But there you go. Hi, ChatGPT, can you hear me? Yes, loud and clear. What's on your mind today? I was wondering what the weather is going to be like. There, look at that. There's the weather, exactly as it told me. And the interesting thing is it's actually putting it here in Fahrenheit, but it was giving it to me in Celsius. Okay, thanks. That was wonderful. Then I said, do you see what I'm showing you? Yes, it looks like you've got a laptop and dual monitors going on, blah, blah, blah. I asked about the printer. First said it can't see the exact model. Then I moved it closer and asked if it can now see it. And said, yeah, yes, now I see it. It's an HP DeskJet 6475, etc. Right. So now you've also got, no matter what you discussed while you were on the road or whatever, on voice conversation, you can still come. So even if you did ask for something real estate related, you can still come and copy and paste it later. Okay, quite amazing. I think you'll agree. We're going fast, and now you've seen that it's easy. Okay, it's really not difficult. Right, I want to get back to my slideshow quickly, I believe. Slideshow. There we go. Okay, so we've spoken about that, cross-device continuity. So if you logged into your PC and onto your phone with the same email address and password, then you've got continuity. Whatever you do on your PC, you'll be able to see later on your phone and vice versa. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to mention one or two more advanced things, but I see for now, I've actually got a bit of a fun thing just for interest's sake. So what I did is I actually asked ChatGPT to create a song for me about real estate agents. So there you'll say, and I said, maybe in the style of something that ABBA would sing. And I wanted to be a bit of tongue-in-cheek humor about the various roles that we are expected to play, etc. So what I was doing, I was asking ChatGPT to create the lyrics for a song for me. And it'll do this for you for anything. Okay, and it did that. I'm not going to even show you that. I took those lyrics. This is the cool part. This is just a little bit of an extra tip if you don't know it yet. There is a website called suno.com. That's suno.com. Suno.com. You can go there and you can go and put in words and it'll sing it for you. All right. I'm saying it very basically, but it can be quite advanced. Nevertheless, so I took these beautiful lyrics that ChatGPT created for me, and I went on to Suno and I asked Suno to please sing it for me. And I'm going to just play this for you. It's a bit of a tribute for you, just for a bit of fun. And I need to share another screen, just so you can see. Right, so lyrics were created by ChatGPT just for fun, and present something else. So you can just give me a thumbs up if you can hear it when I play it. And here we go.
We're part-time shrinks and marriage guides. We juggle dreams and moving tides. We fix the lights, fluff all the beds, then talk some sense in buyers' heads. We stage with style, we scrub and sweep, and give advice for free, not cheap. We're tour guides, planners, child entertainers. We deal with cats, alarms, and angry neighbors. We calm the nerves, we pour the tea, and act like therapists professionally. We know the laws, the cracks, the zones, and still reply when you text our phones. We chase approvals, figure docs, explain what suits and climbing costs, negotiate like pros with flair while sellers change the price mid-air. We dodge delays and pray each day, may the buyer's bond come through. We say we know the laws, the cracks, the zones, and still reply when you text our phones. We chase approvals, figure docs, explain what suits and climbing costs, negotiate like pros with flair while sellers change the price mid-air. We dodge delays and pray each day, may the buyer's bond come through. We say, oh, we do it all and still look grand, smile on our face, contract in hand. From morning show to late night call, we're agents, baby, we do it all. And just remember, with all that flair, we only get paid if you get there.
Oh, well, that's a tribute to all of you real estate agents, including myself. So much is expected from us. Anyway, that was just a bit of fun. Back to our presentation. Let's just move on. Right, so we've covered quite a lot, and so we're not going to go into these advanced things, but from here on, there's already so much more ChatGPT can do. I mean, you can create custom GPTs, which you pretty much tailor-make ChatGPT for specific things that you want to do on a repetitive basis, or the possibilities are endless. Agent mode, you can, within ChatGPT, these are on the paid versions, but nevertheless, you can create little agents for various tasks. I mean, you could create an agent, just a stupid example, you can create an agent which you say at the beginning of every month, go onto my Google Drive, access this Google Sheet, get all the data from within that, please extract it, now go and onto my Outlook and create an email and send it to these specific contents, and a report about that, right? That type of thing. You can go haywire. So where ChatGPT can start connecting, like you saw, I connected to my Canva, it can connect to different things, like your Outlook or your Google Drive or your OneDrive and various different apps and so on. You can create it, can connect to booking.com and go and do a heck of a lot of, find exactly what you're looking for without you having to go and play around. Anyway, lots of things, projects. Actually, on my thing you see there, I'll show you quickly. Why not? If you go over here, projects. Okay, there's GPTs. These are custom GPTs I've made. So just as an example, back to custom GPTs. So, I mean, I've got an EXP Realty benefits guide. So if I want to send this, I send an agent a link to this specific GPT. He can ask any question because I've fed this GPT with all the info about EXP. There's a property guide. I send that link to my sellers, and it's got so much information which I fed it so that it's not coming from the general ChatGPT, so it's been answered the way I want it answered, etc. It's mind-blowing. So I send that link to my sellers and they can go and ask any question. And then I will also know that it's interacting, so I know they're busy, and it's also good lead generation, right? Anyway, that wasn't what I was on. And projects, I mean, here you can see I've got various, I'm busy creating a voice bot. So that's that project. If I go into that project, now I've got all my chats for that project all in one place, and it's all together. And when I'm speaking to ChatGPT, it knows I'm speaking about this thing, and there's certain instructions it must follow. It's mind-blowing. The possibilities are simply endless. Yeah, let's get back there. Anyway, so that's it, and use it for deep research. But my only point is, once you get going with things like ChatGPT and you converse with it and you're used to doing it, then AI is going to be easy going forward. Okay, and you cannot do without it anymore. Okay. Okay, that's just a photo of our office, our own little office in the metaverse at EXP World, and I've got a chatbot there as well. I send clients here, they can look at all my videos, but I've got a chatbot there, which has also been instructed exactly how to handle clients and generate leads for me. People have a lot of fun, and eventually I'm generating leads as well. Okay, all the power of AI and ChatGPT. Okay, well, we've spoken about this and creating digital PAs like custom GPTs, etc. It's happening fast and furiously. Just keep up. But now you've seen, I hope, that it's not difficult. Okay, it's really happening quickly. And we're trying to stay at the forefront of it, which is very important. And as I said, I try to make it easier for our agents as well. Okay, I've been asked, so this is something I've been doing with ChatGPT almost the whole of last year on a monthly basis. And I recently started because people asked, what else do we use in our business? What other tools, what other tech systems, etc. So I'm doing a webinar on that this Friday, where you'll just see all the systems we use to automate our business, to make sure that we, our branding is really top notch. We get better exposure than anywhere else for our listings and everything, international exposure. Just everything. Okay, so I'm going to be doing that, and you'll see all our AI workflows, what we use to make our lives easier. So if you're interested, I suppose I could put this link in the chat, and you can just go and register. So I'll put this quickly in the chat box. That's pretty much it, I'd say, for today. We always end with this: embrace technology or get left behind by those who do. You guys are on this call. So that means you're starting to embrace technology. How far you're advanced with it doesn't matter. You saw today, ChatGPT will help you in your business from start to finish once you get to use it. Our adaptability is the key to our success. That's very important. So we don't want to become irrelevant. Just keep up with it. And yeah, let's just do it. All right, people. So that's it. Yeah, wonderful. If anybody would like to say anything, ask a question, you are welcome to put up your hands.